Hi everyone, I'm sure you heard of Spellers Academy as we've been talking about it for weeks on LinkedIn. And so I thought I'd share this video just to, give you a glimpse of what it really is about. So Spellers Academy is an educational platform. It is one of the verticals under Spellers Group, but this time focusing on education. Now, before you think that we're a typical education platform, it is not. Actually, we're more like a digital storytelling platform. So when you go on LinkedIn every day and you hear people going live and sharing their personal stories, and you get a lot of value when people share their stories in real time, because you not only can ask them questions about what they shared, but also learning from experiences totally give you a different kind of knowledge. Now, I know theory would help, reading articles, and as an entrepreneur myself, all this information about theoretical content is important. Of course, I want to know how to, for example, raise capital money. But truly, if I manage to be able to hear somebody's story who tells me his or her real experiences in capital raise, it would be remarkably useful for me. I'll be learning experience of somebody who tried to raise $100,000 and succeeded, and probably raising even more than that. I want to know how he or she profiles investors. What were the experiences? Where did they go? How did they find the investors? What were the emotions? How did they feel when they get rejected? Why did they not give up? So I want to know all these questions by hearing a real story from a real person, especially in real time. So that's what Academy is about. So whatever that you want to learn more, whether it's about cryptocurrency, whether it's about legal, finance acumen, you want to learn more about insurance, you want to learn about social media marketing, website framework, you want to learn about raising capital money, you want to know what investors look out when they want to invest in someone else. This is a platform where you find professionals, okay? These speakers could be trainers, coaches, professionals, corporates, investors. They are all these people with their industry experts, basically sharing their real experiences with you. So you can choose and select what kind of story you want to hear, and then you can pre-book it, and then you get reminded to tune in live, and they will also go on live from anywhere in the world. And now you can connect with them. It's also more like an online networking, because after you connect with them, of course, ask them a question, you naturally bond with them, you can take the relationship forward by connecting with them outside Academy through their social medias like LinkedIn and Facebook. So basically, our job is just to connect the world, and making experience sharing is one of the most important way of learning new things. It's always nice, of course, and it's always easy, and it's always interesting to learn from theoretical content by attending seminars, workshops, universities, doing certificates. However, I can tell you it's a different experience when you learn the true experience of industry experts. So I hope that you will enjoy your time on Academy as we go live relatively really soon. And if you are a trainer or a speaker or a coach, professional who has some compelling stories you want to share, so that you can pass on those values, those wisdom, as well as those lessons that you learned to someone else so they can improve in their journey, please get connected with me and speak on Spellers Academy.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Behind Closed Door with Mamaliez. It's about inspiring stories of sharing of inspiring stories with unconditional and respect. And tonight, I'm inviting a very, very special person. And why I think I'm special, one of the things that I read one of her articles that really was me like wow, because it really helped me on that day. I needed to read the article, and it's about when she was relating about parenting and leadership, and never to compare our kids with others, and also within the siblings. And every kid should have a personalized journey into success in their own personalized path. So today I'm going to share with you the profile of our special guest tonight. And tonight we're going to have Leza Klenk. She is a COO of Spellers Academy and SC Beauty Network Personal Branding Coach and Asia's Greatest CEO 2019, awarded by URS and Asia One. She's also a speaker and author and a mother of three. She She has done. She's a CEO of the beauty tech company, and it's been around in other 10 countries, and also educational tech firm, an award-winning entrepreneur at a very young age. She has started her business very young. But today, you're not only gonna know what she has done now, but you will also find out how she get there from childhood, how she started being very enterprising at a very, very young age. And I heard her story, and I want you guys to hear her story too. So everyone, please welcome Leza Klenk. Hi, Leza. Hello. Leza, can you hear me? You're already online. You need to unmute. How come you not? I can't be unmuted. Can you unmute yourself? Uh-oh.
Okay.
There you go. Hi, Leza. How are you? Thank you so much for coming
I think,
tonight.
Liz, I cannot hear you from the stream yet. I might wanna.
Ah, can you hear me now?
Yeah. So I cannot hear you at all. So I think I log out and come back quickly. Okay. 1 second, everybody. 1 second.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Can you please respond and say hello? Okay, let me know, whoever outside there. Please let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you in Kuala Lumpur? Are you in Malaysia, or are you outside Malaysia? Are you part of Spanish? Oh, we can see here we have Chiseng. Chiseng is the early adopters of Spanish Academy, and he's also one of the coach there. So you have to go to one of his webinars. This is my daughter, Shakira. We have Mary Ann Santos here from Malaysia. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, you can hear me? Great, awesome. And then we have also Shura Ann. Okay, thank you for letting me know that you can hear me, because I wasn't sure if you could hear me. So let me see who else are in here. Let me know. Okay, she's back. So can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I see. Hello. Okay, Shakira.
I saw your daughter there. Hi.
Hi. Yeah. So, okay, good night. All right. Sorry, Leza. So maybe can you have a short introduction of yourself? I know I have introduced. Maybe you can be a summary. You can introduce yourself a little bit.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining this evening. So my name is Leza Klenk. I'm actually 36 actually, and I'm a mother of three. And basically, I started a business 10 years ago from being a stay-home mom for 7 years, and I started selling my first company selling hair accessories. And that already went into 9 countries, raised capital investment. So now I'm a CEO of a tech group. So Spendless Group actually owns several entities, one of which you saw earlier in the video, which is Spendless educational platform, Spendless Academy. And our mission to actually educate as many people as possible. So if you want to learn about business, just go to spendlessacademy.com. I'm passionate about personal branding, and I do have over 120,000 followers on LinkedIn, where I utilize that space to basically share my thoughts, my business journey, hoping to inspire and motivate a lot more people. And my other business, Spendless Cosmetics, is helping more women, especially moms, because that was me before, and also single moms, because that was also me before, to earn the capacity and opportunity to actually earn income via social media as social sellers for beauty products. So that's in summary of what I do.
Thank you so much, Leza. That's an excellent summary. Okay, with your great profile, like you have done so much for a lot of women out there, and also creating the Spellers Academy. Let's go and rewind back how it started. Yeah. So can you please maybe share with me, how was your childhood like? I mean, how was your father like? How was your mom like? How was your childhood like with them? What are the values that you learned from them that you brought to today? Maybe you can share a little bit where your father was coming from and all that.
So my father and my mother are first generation in Singapore. So previously my father is from Indonesia. His ancestors are from there. And my mother is originally from Malaysia. Her ancestors are from there. So my father is an orphan. So his parents died when he was young. So that resulted in him getting into bad company. He was a school dropout, and he didn't come with formal education, but he did work very hard, even though in a factory, to support me and my sister. My mother, she was in school until 16, and she also had to leave school because, during that time, money was tough, and her mom was a single mom, was a widow actually, and she has six other siblings. So she has to help her mom go from house to house and obviously do household chores for other rich people to earn income. So
Right.
basically, my background, I didn't really have my parents to support me in business in the beginning because nobody in my whole family and
Mm,
generation are business people.
right.
And then, but my childhood, I come from a middle class. At some point, my parents got control of their finance, so they were trying their best to give us a decent home,
Mm,
making sure I have enough money for school, and I appreciate all of that. But they do have a little bit of thinking that they didn't believe or they didn't think that in our culture, women should study very high up. So at some
right.
point, my parents would discourage me to pursue pre-university and university. So that's when I also didn't pursue on anyway because they weren't very supportive in that tertiary education. My parents are different now. They are very much more supportive, and I love my parents so much, even though we have different parenting styles.
Yeah.
But that's roughly about my childhood. And I have an older sister, so she lives in the US right now, and she's a stay-home mom.
Okay. So even though your parents have a different belief than you, but what made you decide to I mean, how were you in school then? Maybe you can share with me, how were you in school? What made you want to study hard or not study hard? How were you like in school?
So what my parents didn't know about me, okay? So my parents think that I'm like them. So my parents, and it's nothing wrong, but my parents are very settled. So they have a job, they earn a paycheck, they work 9 to 5, so they're very settled. But I'm a complete rebel. Okay, so I cannot
Yeah.
settle. Okay, so everything in life I have to be the best, overachieve, and I must be the top. And it's not because I'm trying to compete with someone else. It's just because I'm trying to test myself every time whether I'm capable of doing so much more. And of course, if you don't pull yourself up, you never push yourself, you never know where your limit is, right? So you
Right.
have to keep on pushing. So when I was in
So,
school,
yeah, but before that, but how do you come up with that desire that I can do better than this? What did you notice that? Where did that push come from? Is it from your inner self or you seen something? What is it that make you okay? I want to do better than this, you know?
well, actually, it's just curious about myself, and secondly, I think I wanted to please my parents because my parents, I told you, they're not academic centric though. So
Right.
even if you get a straight A's, my parents were
Mm.
not impressed because it didn't matter to them. You get straight A's, you get half A's, you get half.
Oh,
So my parents no reaction. So I'm trying to
oh,
figure out what is it that would make my parents give me some kind of
ah,
reaction, like
reaction.
saying that, oh, you're
Ah,
proud or something like. So that's why
okay.
I'm always trying to test different things to see whether
Ah,
I
okay.
do well because my parents have no reaction at all. Report book, no report book, school, no school. So my parents are very laid back, which is good in a way. I think most
Yeah.
kids like it. Okay, but me, I wanted more, I want more push. And that's why
Yeah.
if my parents are not pushing me, I'm pushing myself. And that's why
Uh,
I do all sorts of stuff in school.
okay. So because of that, and then in school, you start doing things. What were you going? What's going on in school?
So I hardly share this story because nobody really asks, right, this kind of story now that we are professionals. But actually, I believe that the reason why I am the way I am today is a lot of how I have been thinking when I was a teenager. A lot of our childhood characters continue to evolve and develop as we get older. They don't really change, they just get better or bigger. So when I was in school, right, I was into making money. So people go to school and people go to school for school, right? To study, do homework. But I'm
Yeah.
going to school to make money. Okay. So I treat school as a business. So and it's not because my parents don't give me enough money. They give me $10 a day, which is a lot. Okay. And
Yeah.
they go to work, so they come home about 6 o'clock at night for dinner. But they told me, hey, here's $10 and buy whatever you want to eat for the day. So
Yeah.
technically I'm not struggling with money. So
Yeah.
$50 a week. But I also didn't want to go home early from school, right? Because obviously no one's at home. My parents are working. So I thought I'd do something after school.
Mm.
So a couple things that I did. Number one was I start to do homework for other people. Okay, but not maths, not science, not to worry. I actually did artwork. So I was a top student in school, so we had to be in a maths and science class where we take bio, physics, additional maths. So we had to be first class. But I was very good in art. But the art class is not taking me in because of my academic results. So my
Mm.
friends who got stuck in the art class hated
Mm.
it. Okay,
Right.
so every time they have an art assignment, they're like calling me. Okay, I'm like the go-to person, and
Right.
I do their art assignments for them, and I do
Mm.
differently for different people, and I charge $5. So during busy times, I can get 10 bookings per the week, and I make another $50. Again, I don't need this money. So I'm just happy because I could make money. I realize whenever I identify people have a problem and I have something that I can service, I match
Mm.
that with their problem. And that's how
Right.
I can easily make money. People don't think twice about paying your price because they need you. So that's
Right.
one of the things that I did. I figured it out very early, right? Like a business
Yeah.
person. If
Yeah.
you want
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody to pay your price, you got to find their pain point, and then you got to tailor made a specific program or solution for them that they will pay any price because they want that pain point to go away. And that's
Right.
business. So I worked it out really early when I was 15, cashing in some money, and I still want to make more money. So I
Right.
did tuition on the weekends to my parents' friends' daughters.
Mm.
And then the best part of I do a lot of betting in school. And this is the most interesting part. So I'm a risk taker. You can tell I'm quite a gambler. Okay, and that's why my husband's a CFO right now because otherwise I'm gambling all the money. Okay, so he has to be my CFO. And when I was young, I started betting not on illegal stuff. Just want to be clear. I'm betting on myself, but I make people bet on me. So I started joining the school competition, like debating, English speaking, storytelling. So whatever competition that school have, and
Mm.
those in Singapore schools, you would know it. There's always a lot of competition. I
Right.
enter every single one of them. Okay,
Uh,
and I would go to my friends, and before the actual day of the contest, okay, I would go to my friends and collect money. Okay, collect bets, and the bet would be if they have to bet an amount, $5, $10, $20. And if I get second place or third place, or I do not win the competition at all, I will
mm.
pay them this amount. So they win this amount. Like first, if I win first, the money's mine. So they lose this amount. So it was a very attractive deal. Okay. So people were
Yeah.
giving $40, $30 because people were like, "Ah, she might not win." Okay. She first place out of so many places, she might not win it. But knowing that I have this pressure, this stake of losing a lot of money, so I always prepare myself on the day of the competition, and I always win first. Okay. And
Uh,
because of that, the year after, my friends would the same friends would not bet anymore. So I had to move on and find a new crowd and ask them to do the betting. And that's how I make the most. Sometimes I can make up to $200 over a contest. Um, because and the thing is the benefit is not the money. The benefit is actually that I've leveled up, so because of the pressure, I
yeah.
purposely put this pressure. So I want to
Yeah.
be the best, and I have to be the best. So
Uh,
same thing for sports as well. So cross country, when I was number 20th out of the whole school, I
right.
trained, and then next year I get to number 7, and then next year I get to number 4. So I have to be better every year, and that's just me and the way I think, which is different from my mother. So when I grow up, of course, any income I cannot settle. I always aim for higher income, even though I don't need it. I have to. It's just my mindset.
That's just amazing. Anyone who hears this story can maybe tell me whether this is an amazing story or not. I hear an echo. Just share with me whether what you think. I don't know. There's something wrong with the comments here. It says you can't post comments to some destination. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's a very interesting story, isn't it, Area? I tell you, I never heard anybody use a betting system to inspire oneself. How did you get that kind of idea?
No, I'm just driven to perform. I need to, and also obviously to earn money because I'm already business minded. Okay, not money minded. I want to rephrase that. Okay, not money
Uh,
minded, but I'm business minded. So how can we utilize our day, so that it doesn't go to waste? Instead of me lazing around waiting for my mother to come home, I might as well do something good that helps someone else and let me earn in the side. So that's how I utilize my time. Every day for me has to make sense. I cannot just live doing nothing. So I always have to do something, and that's how I feel that my day is not wasted.
yeah, you look at this. Leza buat kerja haram masa muda, easy money in. She's very business minded. They very chilling, very pandai. School should encourage entrepreneurship at young age. What do you think of that? Uh,
I definitely agree. It's not about say that your child have to make money. It's just have encouraging them to have ideas, take
mm,
action, whether they make money or not, just to develop the entrepreneur mindset. My children are homeschooled because
right.
I developed the entrepreneurial mindset. So after that, they go to school after 10 years at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
my
you
kids are
homeschool all
homeschooled.
them?
Yeah,
Wow.
the first one
Wow.
for 12 years, the rest are
So,
10 years.
so School of Leza of Entrepreneurship. Huh? School of Entrepreneurship. I think the next academy you should do academy for kids also lah.
Yeah,
Ah,
definitely.
kan? Yeah, not just for the adults but also for the kids. So okay. So from then, what happens after your high school?
So after my high school, I was the top student. But
Mm-hmm.
when I turned 16, the government sent a letter to my house. They are offering to pay for my university for four
Mm,
years and then sign a bond of 5 years to become a teacher.
right.
So, but they wanted, because I think they lack of Malay teachers. So this program is still available till today. And I was offered to become a Malay qualified teacher. So I had to go to school, and they would even pay me to go to school, which is
Mm,
quite good because my parents liked it. Obviously, oh, we don't have to pay anything. She goes to
yeah.
school, was paid. She's even got paid 1,500 to go to school every month.
Right.
But I, being visionary, I don't see myself as a Malay teacher. I thought I would consider a maths teacher, but I didn't want that path, so I rejected that scholarship. So and then I went on to, told my parents I wanted to go to college to do my A levels, and my parents were
Ah,
not very supportive because they have to still look after me, and also then they have to prepare money for university. So I told you my parents were a little bit backward thinking at that time, so they weren't
mm,
into education. So I had to work part-time
mm,
to manage school, and that's when I couldn't get up for school because I was working every day selling bubble tea for 450 an hour, to earn $22 a night so that I can, upkeep with school. So because of that, after 1 year, I dropped out of school, dropped out of college because I don't have the time to attend
mm.
school. I don't have the energy, and I obviously am severely behind. So I left and I started working for 2 years, and then I got married.
I see. After and then you got married. So so that's when you have I share some pictures here. Here you go. There, the firstborn, right?
The first life born, yes.
Yeah, the first life born. What's his name?
Daniel, he's 14 right now.
Ah, and then that's him also.
Yes,
Yes, and then this is your second
yeah.
child. And what's her name?
Ilana. So she's turning 12 this first July.
So at this point, what was going on after that inspire you do uh to do your first company, right? This one is to have the baby
Baby
bows.
boy. Yes.
Yes. Tell me a story. How did you get inspired to do this? Your first baby bows, your first company.
So actually, I think this story might resonate with a lot of you. I'm one of those people who married really young, really, really young, to make a
Mm,
decision. Honestly, Chi Sing was commenting married at 20. The answer is yes, yes, I did. But it wasn't shocking to my culture. But in my opinion, right now, as a modern mom, I obviously do not encourage my children to make such a decision before they turn 21 or 25. But
mm,
when I married, I had a illusion. I had a vision about how it's going to be. Like, I'm going to be at home. I'm going to have children. I might be a tai tai. My husband might have a good job. You know, it's
right, right,
common. Oh, we might save money. We buy our first house. We go holiday
yeah,
once a year.
yeah,
That is a perception. I'm not saying that that doesn't come true, but in
mm,
certain cases it might not be what we anticipate. So which is why I always encourage women to be financially independent until today, because that gives you a lot of strength and
mm,
wisdom when you have control over your own money. So at that
right,
time I was depending on my husband then for money, and
mm,
it was a struggle until I cannot take it anymore. So you know, when you struggle 1 to 2 years, you go like, oh, it's okay, it's typical. People marry young always struggle first 2 3 years, but at some point you run out of excuses to tell yourself, or you look into the eyes of your children to say that you still don't have enough money every month. And that's when I woke up when I turned 27, before I have my third life born. So I had just had my second life born,
mm,
and I thought to myself, I'm still renting. I don't have my own house. I don't have an account. I don't have a bank account. I don't have savings. And
mm,
I keep on borrowing my parents' money. And I think about my past, about me as a child, carefree,
yeah,
making money in
yeah,
school.
yeah,
And I'm like, I haven't changed. I'm still as smart. Okay, I've
yeah,
settled into motherhood. But that doesn't mean I cannot exercise the skills that I have, the ambition, the
yes,
interest.
Yes.
And then so I thought to myself, now this time I'm gonna be like I was before, okay? But
Right.
I will manage it with children. The difference is last time I don't have kids, so it's a bit easier, but this time I'm gonna manage my income, earning money, running a business despite having three kids. And
Mm,
that's exactly what I did very much later on when I turned 27, nearly 28, which some people already thought of doing business before that, or at least they started working already before that. So I
yeah.
was a stay-home mom for a very long time. So I couldn't speak English very well because I was talking to kids for so long. I wasn't networking. I don't know
Ah,
anybody. I don't know business
right.
acumen, and I was a school dropout. And nobody in my family are business people, so nobody could give me a direction or an advice. And my husband at that time was okay with it in the beginning, but he got resistant after that a little bit because obviously the business is taking up my time, and obviously I'm making a lot more money. So
Right.
that also causes a lot of strain in the marriage itself. But I chose business, and I that's how I continue to pursue my path of entrepreneurship.
I see. So, do you think that there's a lot of cases? There's number of cases. Or some, I think, like including me myself. Yeah, I went into motherhood for a while. I really forget about who I was before, and then I guess it's normal for a lot of mothers. You know, they have child, and then we want to focus on our kids, blah blah blah, and then sometimes we forget that we do have this kind of skills that we can use. So, what would you be your advice for mothers who went into motherhood and settled in? Uh, what would you be advice for them if they got caught in that situation?
So I would just want to remind people that your children, yes, it is part of your responsibility and you try to be the best parents, but your children's presence do not dictate every part of your life. There's still a part of you where you want to be yourself, you want to do what you love, you want to chase your passion, and you want to build your dreams, and that is still your entitlement as a person. And it doesn't mean that having children is an obstacle that stop you in chasing your dream. You can always put a pause, okay? Let's say your child needs you more this year, it's always okay to take a pause, but you can always pick it up because never lose in touch with yourself. One day your kids are going to grow up, they find their identities, they find their place in the
Mm,
world, and then it's
mm,
going to be left with you. And you're going to ask yourself, who am I without my kids? And you must have an answer in order to live the rest of your life more fulfilling. And the other advice I wanted to give is, right, if you're a young mother like me, okay, and I will give this advice to young mothers as well.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you are a young mother,
yeah,
you are growing as much as your child is growing. You are still growing, 2021. So if you don't grow fast enough, your children will not grow enough because you don't have enough wisdom. You have not gone through a lot of stages of life. You have not gone
right,
through so much. So if you're a
right,
young mother, you should be doing things. You can build a career, start a small business, build experiences because you need to learn character development, professional development, and wisdom. Only then you will be a better parent because you understand after all this wisdom. If you are still a child can never raise a child. So if your mindset is still young, you need to grow faster by putting yourself in experiences. So it's okay. At some point when your child is 3 and you're 24, you want to start your career. There's nothing wrong with it. And one day when you're wise enough, your children has got the best of you. You can always come back to stay home later on once you have developed yourself enough. Just remember that you're growing, and if you don't grow enough, you're at home at 20 for like me, right? 27 years at home. I didn't grow. So what can I
mm,
give my child? I didn't grow. I cannot give them any advice. I cannot give them anything about life outside the house. And that is
right,
one thing that my children's deprive of. And that's why I
right.
do business because I want to give my children so much more to develop their character so they can survive in the world with or without me.
Right, amazing. So we have here Mary Ann was saying, I gave up my career on the casino because of my children. Yes, I think a lot of mothers do that. There's no wrong or right in it, whether they want to give up the career. Like Miss Leza said, is never to forget who we are. Yeah, and we still can have our own identity, even being a mother, either with or without the career. If without the career, then put on pause and still remember, right? So okay, so you were in doing the baby and this
Baby
beautiful
boss. Yeah.
baby bows, yeah. And I see so many beautiful designs and amazing designs here. So you were doing it yourself, you were designing it yourself, and then were you also how did it grow to so many different countries? How did that happen?
So when I was 27, and like I said,
Yeah.
no business acumen whatsoever, I was
Right.
thinking, oh, what business should I start, right? I want to make
Yeah.
money. I
Yeah.
just want to earn $500 a month. But some people have the talent for cooking, for baking. I cannot do
Yeah.
anything of that until today. So I was thinking, what skills can I have that can make me money? So I went
Mm,
on YouTube one day
mm,
after my kids are asleep. I was looking for ideas and I saw videos of how people make ribbons, bows out of ribbons. And I'm like, I can do this. I mean, this okay. This sounds easy. And I only had $100 savings at that time, so I bought my first lot of ribbon to my house. And when it came in a small box, okay, $100 doesn't get you much ribbons in a small box. And I opened it up and I realized that how do I even do this? It's my first time. I don't even know how to sew a button. But I practice. Okay, every night when the kids are asleep, I keep on making bows to get better. And initially, it was me doing alone, and I had my daughter to wear, like you see the photos just now.
yeah.
And when I put her photo out there, people really visualize the product on their own children, and that
Yeah.
went viral. So when that
Oh.
went by, so that $100 became $1,000 in a month, and $1,000 became $10,000 in 3 months. So I'm
Mm,
like, wow, mothers are really spending, and every mom would buy at least 10, 20 pieces for their child. And
right.
when I told my parents the idea, right, the very beginning, and I said, Mom, I'm going to start a business to earn an income. She said, what are you going to do? And I told her that I was going to make hair bows and sell like hair clips and bows. And she goes like,
Mm,
are you crazy? Like because the department store sells it all the time and you can
yeah.
manufacture this in China for $3. And I
Yeah.
told her,
Right.
but mine's handmade. Handmade is nicer and it's unique, okay, and it's good
Yeah.
quality. And we were selling for $12 to $20. Okay, so in
Oh.
compared to that. So
Right.
because of the uniqueness, mothers were
Yeah.
willing to pay because they know no other child has a duplicate copy. So they're willing to pay
Right.
much more because it's a brand for them. So
Right.
my mom didn't like the idea, but I
Mm,
went on to do it anyway. After 3 months,
yeah.
I developed my website. After 6 months, department store starts calling in. So and that's when I start supplying to 54 department stores. We were in Toys R Us, Parkson, Metro Jaya, OG, John Little, and then we also supplying to 9 other countries via our partners. Yeah, so that's and then we clocked in about 100K in our first year. Build a small team of 4 people, and obviously I cannot manufacture myself. So what I did
Mm.
was I run workshops and I train stay-home mothers to do the bows for me.
Oh.
So I
Wow.
pay them. Yeah, so
That's
I pay them to
amazing.
be my worker. I send ribbons to their house so they can work at home when their kids are asleep because I know exactly how it is, right? And
Right.
then they make it for me. They bring, and then I collect it back using courier, and then we glue it at our house. And my parents, who initially didn't like the idea, when they realized
Mm,
that I do have the potential and I do
mm.
very well, so my parents are really helpful. So they changed their mindset, and my parents are the one who would always help me pack until 5 a.m. in the morning in my house, packing
Wow.
for orders in different countries, tagging and everything. So my parents really gave a lot of help during that time.
Awesome. And then I remember you were telling me also how that you, when you just started and there were mothers who were buying, they are the one who started referring and also bringing you to the department store. Is that? Can you
Yes,
tell that
correct.
story?
So I didn't do much Facebook advertising. Actually, I was blogging a lot about motherhood because I love being a mother, and there's a lot of young mothers as well. So we were always sharing on Facebook about pregnancy, parenting, breastfeeding, the typical
Yeah.
topics mothers like to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because the community formed on social media, which is amazing, right? Social media really form people together. And so the community start growing to 20,000 mothers. And when you
Wow.
know that many mothers, you're always gonna get sales, and they also refer you to people they know. So I get a placement in newspaper, in radios, in TVs. They start building my my reputation and credibility, and
Mm,
they know a department store or they work in the department store. They will actually contact the department store buyer to talk to me so that my product can enter department store. And that's how we got into Metro Jaya. That's how we got into Parksons. Yeah, because of referral from mothers who love the product. But most importantly, I think it's not the product. I think they love because they have a bond with me of how close we have grown on social media. And they
mm.
just wanted to see me successful, and they took me right there to success.
Wow, that's amazing. So I think at the end, it's actually, in any business is about building the relationships. Yeah. And you have your own tribe supporting you to ensure that you succeed and they succeed too. And in a way, you're helping all the mothers. Yeah.
Yep.
So Yeah, I think that's really, really amazing what you do. And then after it's gone around all over Asia and all these department stores, what happened then?
The investor starts calling.
Okay.
So so 1 year later, one I think 1 year plus later, so people start messaging and ask whether I'm open to investments. And
Mm,
I thought, okay, maybe there are more people who's willing to invest, because obviously there's a lot of people reading my blog and follow me on social media, and I was already quite a public figure on Facebook. So
right.
I remembered that the very first post I put on Facebook, this is in 2011, around October, and I told people that, hey, if I were to open up for investment, right, would anybody invest in me? And I was very surprised, because 1 week later I received 75,000 US dollars. So I'm like,
Wow.
people really believe in me, and there's people I don't really know in person.
Mm,
And then that's when I learned a lot about investments, because I start reading up how investment works and stuff like that. And then so we took the investment to grow the company, but the company
mm,
was profitable, so we technically didn't need that cash injection. So
yeah.
what we did was we invested in other businesses. So I opened up the baking studio, tuition centers, art school, training company.
Mm,
We have also a beauty studio. So
cool.
we developed some other businesses, which we
Mm,
eventually sold off a couple of years later, with or without goodwill, when I
mm.
entered tech in 2016.
Oh, so okay. So and then when you have expanded to so many areas, and there were one point, what happened that you were saying that it became uh bankrupt? Is that, I mean,
Yeah.
not you become, yeah. So what? How did they get there from there?
So, okay. So what happened was, initially when I started the company was a sole proprietorship. So we didn't have a lawyer to advise us that a company should be a private limited entity, actually. So it was a sole prop. So what happened is,
Mm.
later on, when we signed on investors, they were still, even though the company is converted to private limited, they were still locked with the sole prop name.
Ah,
So with a sole prop name. So legally, I still own everything personally. Okay, so the liability is much higher, because
mm,
I was waiting for the contract to expire that year. But what happened that year was we expanded too quick, and I wasn't ready to lead people. So we got more investment. We hired 19 full-time employees, and we have 4 offices in Singapore and one in Moncara, Malaysia. And
mm,
there's too many people on the payroll, and people
mm,
are making investment with the company's money, but we don't have enough returns on time to cover back some investments. So
right.
that year, once all the project starts failing, and also because I feel that it's either I don't lead very well, I wasn't ready to lead a big company, but also I think I
Mm,
hired the wrong people. So
mm,
I paid the price, because the investment couldn't be met by the end of 2016. So the company was filed by one of the investors to be bankrupt. So we had to take it in terms of bankruptcy, but I recovered 2 years later. So it's not a big deal now. Last time it was a bit heartache, but 2 years later, obviously I grow more businesses and recovered from there. But it was painful for a while, because I didn't know when that first happened. I didn't know what to expect.
right.
So what happened was the government takes, because it's a sole prop, so the government takes all your personal money, all your bank accounts, all your
Wow.
assets, and they only leave one house for you, which is the house that you're supposed to stay in for your family. But other than that,
Oh,
they drain you completely. So we lost penthouses, we lost everything. And then we were very poor for a while, because we couldn't do business and recover so quick, because I was grieving a lot, and I was depressed for I think about 6 months. So when you're depressed, of course you cannot
mm,
control your income anymore. You don't have the
right.
energy to actually build anything, because you're
Yeah,
just so sad at how you
right.
built something for 4 years and you lost in like 4 months.
Mm,
It was really painful for my family. I had to house them in JB, where the rental was cheaper, and I had to rent out my Singapore apartment and move back to
right.
live with my mother. We were
Oh,
living on $200 a week, and we're a family of 5. So you can imagine it's
wow.
not that much. My kids were not in school, so there was no expenses there.
Mm,
But at some point, after 6 months,
mm,
I told myself again, I have skills. If I've lost $500,000, that also means I once had $500,000. So to start, so that means I never lose my skill. What I gain is only lessons and wisdom. So if I could
right.
channel them properly, I would have made better informed decisions, planning my direction from here. So
Yeah.
that's when things turned, and I stopped complaining, and I stopped being depressed, and I stopped
Right.
regretting anything. I just
Right.
let go. What happened? I don't have to close the loop. I just need to find out, okay, what's my strategy for tomorrow? And some days are tough, some day was okay, but I held on until I raised my next 500,000 funding in 2016 and recovered.
Wow. Wow. I'm just like, oh, gobsmacked. This is really awesome story. I mean, a lot of people, they keep remembering their failures rather than focusing on, okay, what can we do next, right?
Yeah.
And what your story shows that, okay, yes, it's okay. I hide for a while. Then okay, now that's time to go already, and just do it and go ahead and
Yeah,
do
you
it.
can learn. You should learn from the past, but do not live there anymore. The past doesn't exist. To be happy is always to look forward.
And then I'm sure in being a businesswoman yourself, and you face these kind of things, and a lot of people will start giving rumors about you and saying things about you. So how do you deal with that? Like, I remember even my mom, she reminded me of you. My mother, she's a businesswoman, and she's just like you. She goes up and then down, bankrupt, and up and down. And she also faced people saying so many things about her. But I know her real story. I know, her real story, where she. But I really, really admire her. That, yeah, my mom is here. Actually, she's watching too.
Hello,
Her name,
auntie. Hello, auntie.
this is my mother, Milia Majis. So she's watching as well. So when I hear your story, it reminded of my mom's story. Yeah. So yeah, tell me, how do you handle with these people saying so many things about you?
So in the world that we live in right now, social media can do two things for you. One, social
Yeah.
media can really propel you because when people want to support you, they can easily refer you, promote you, share about you. But there's also going to be people who don't like you because when you put yourself out there in social media, there'll be people who have different thoughts, okay? So they have different views. So whatever
Mm,
it is, they can make judgments, put out defamatory remarks, and maybe they just don't want you to be as appealing as you used to be. So initially, I was depressed because I had gone through defamation twice, and it was 8 months long. It was really painful when people start to just spend their social media posting talking about how bad you are. And most of the time, these people never do any business with me. They just created some rumors or they hear from an ex-employee, and that suddenly just grew into one kind of story that I didn't even know that was me because it was totally not me. So what happened was it got me to depression for 2 weeks, which is my second depression because my first depression was when I lost my son at stillbirth, but we don't have to talk about it. And then the second time I went to depression is because of social media defamation as a public figure.
mm.
And so when I went to depression, I left social media for a year to
Wow.
completely heal.
Right.
I did. But that's also when I focused on myself and I met my husband and then I remarried. So it was a
Wow.
good break. It was a good break for me. But I
Mm,
realized when I come back to social media, and I talked to one of my friends, right? And I told my friends, okay, that um, there's always haters. I could never have a day, okay, that there's no one talking about me, and I know I'm a public figure, but when will this go away? And my friend told me you have to forget about the haters because instead of worrying about getting rid of them to be successful, how
mm,
about you just be successful despite their existence? And that's when I thought about it. Okay, they will still exist, and the more I accept this, the better it is. I don't live to justify my actions or validate my actions for these people. I do what I want to. I speak with conscience, knowing that I bring meaning to someone's life. And if somebody has a different opinion, or somebody wants to spend their day focusing their energy to say bad things about me, I accept it. That's your opinion and I respect it. Okay, you don't like me. I don't know you to like or not like you, but we'll leave it there. And then I continue on my job and my focus, knowing that my family is healthy and happy, and that's my priority. And as long as I
mm.
can put food on the table, I'll try my best to, do my job the best way I could, despite whatever people decided to, say about me. It will happen.
Yeah.
But you just have to live among it. This is the world of social media, and I'm not the only person. A lot of people go through that, and I just
Yeah.
want to say, don't get emotionally attached to people whose opinions actually don't
Mm.
matter.
That's a very I think that I learned that from you a lot. I'm sure, I hope everybody, the audience, maybe you can just if you have any question, you can ask Leza. any questions. But I think what she's sharing is very, very valuable to all of us, especially now in social media. Sometimes we get carried away, or being too defensive. If somebody try to attack you or say something to you, I think, yeah, forget about what they say. Just get on, like Leza said, just focus on our strength and focus on what we need to do. Yeah. So tell us, tell us, how do, from then onwards, you overcome your depression? How do you overcome it? And what did you do next? What happened next?
So the moment I was thinking straight,
Yeah.
the moment that I was thinking straight, and when I was very serious to put my life together because I owe it to my children. Obviously, I need
Right.
to make sure that I do business because I want to give them a better life. So I cannot quit halfway. They're still young, so I still got time. And so what I did was I look at my strength, my past decision, what were the mistakes that I make. I did a pros and cons list, so I know my strength and I know my weakness. And I work out that my weakness was not because I'm incapable, actually. It's because I don't have enough knowledge. So what happened is the only thing
Mm,
that I need right now is not money, right? You don't need money if you know how to make it. It's as simple as that. The knowledge is
mm,
power. Okay, so you don't need somebody to hand out your money if you know how to make it. Because that knowledge is enough for you to live independently. So I thought I need this knowledge desperately, but where do I
mm.
get it? I cannot go university, and university probably just teach me one major. So I
Right.
have no time for that. So, and I have no money for that. So with no money, no
Uh,
time, how am I going to learn the most?
yeah.
Okay, and I'll learn the most
Yeah.
important things that I
Within
need to learn.
within the
So
shortest period of time, right?
yeah. So it's a very tricky spot,
Uh,
okay? But I was
uh,
desperate to move on, right? And I want to learn. I
uh,
don't know
uh,
if you don't want to make the same mistake, you have to learn. So what I did was for 52 weeks, which is 1 year, I actually spend every week 1 hour lunch with a expert, whether a knowledge expert, industry leader, and they could be from investment brokers, they could be for investment bankers, they could be lawyers, they could be entrepreneurs, CEOs, managing directors, salespeople. So I sit down with all these experts every week and I ask them, because I craft questions beforehand, and I ask them questions to understand the landscape of business. So I don't ask them to solve my problem. That's for me to solve. But I ask them
yeah.
question about their industry, because them, for example, an investment banker, they are doing that job every day for so long. So they give you the
Right.
latest updated information. They give you
Right.
direct answer face to face because you ask them
Right.
directly, and
Right.
they are still doing it. That means they still remember every part of the process. So I learn
Right.
understand, for example, the investment banker,
Uh,
I learned a different investment model. I learned trade equity financing. I learned how to
mm,
finance your business by trading equity instead of a loan. So all these things help me plan my next move with my company. So once
right.
I completed 52 weeks of study with these people, I
Okay.
crafted my presentation deck, and the first person I met was a family office, and straight away he bought 10% of our company shares, and that's how I raised $500,000 and built my company to be what it is today.
Wow, bravo. So that your from that 500,000, is that how you started your this cosmetic apa, SC cosmetic, right?
Yes, Spendless Cosmetics, but
Yes,
the
yes,
500,
wellness.
yeah,
Mm,
500,000 is the start of recovery. So after that,
mm,
I thought of myself, okay, so if I have the capability to raise half a million, that means I need to be on the right social media platform to connect with more people who have the
right,
capacity to fund. So I
right.
jumped on LinkedIn 6 months later. So after I raised that money, 6 months later, about 8 months later, I went on LinkedIn. And then I built my professional network there and continued to raise more rounds via LinkedIn.
Are you
Last one was
serious?
last July. Yeah,
Prior,
last one was
what
in July. Yeah,
what
last year
what year
July.
what year was that when you started in LinkedIn?
2017. So I raised the half a million in 2016. I went on LinkedIn in 2017. Then I raised in September 2017, 2018 March, 2019, 2020 July, and then we're going through
My
one more funding
God.
next month. So next month we're raising more money. So that would be our next capital investment.
My God, Lisa, you know what? People use LinkedIn to find jobs. You go
I
there
know.
to find investors. How
Yeah, that
cool
was the
that
intention from the beginning. That's why I couldn't do it on Facebook. So if you want to target consumers, Facebook is the place if you're trying to sell $20, $50 products. But if you're trying to raise 100K, 200K, 500K, 1 mil, you have to go on LinkedIn, because they are the big business people with deeper pockets and decision makers. So I jumped there
Yeah,
because of that. Yeah, and I did it successfully 4 times.
Wow, that's just amazing. Because I tell you, at 2017, I think people now they are more going to LinkedIn now since last year during pandemic because they
Yes.
changed the way the landscape of LinkedIn is going towards to become a social media for the professionals. But prior to 2020, yeah, before the
Yeah.
pandemic, people are using it just to get jobs.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
You have no idea what its true
no,
capability is. Okay,
yeah,
so I went there and I used my, of course, I was on Facebook. Can I already do personal branding, right? So I already
yeah,
built
yeah.
communities. So I have a decade of experience. So I
Uh,
jump on LinkedIn for the purpose of becoming a public figure. And like I always level up, right? That's my character. I have to level up. So when
yeah.
I went to LinkedIn, I'm not going to accept a 10,000 people connection. I'm here for the big round. So I have to get over 6-digit followers. I have to get in touch with investors. And and that's how I got to where I am. And LinkedIn still give me 95% of my income, and also my capital investment. So I love LinkedIn so much, which is why I advocate for it. So it's
Oh my
endless. The
goodness.
opportunity is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's just amazing. You started prior way before that, and the best part, not just looking for a job, is just look at it. This is just mind blowing for me. Anyone really have the same belief? And did anybody start on LinkedIn? What year? That please, guys, please share. Everybody or in the audience, can you share with me when did you start being active in LinkedIn, and why are you active in LinkedIn? Maybe you can just share on the comment. I mean, this is just mind blowing. So you started there, and then that's where you get your investors. And then how did you start of thinking getting starting with a spendless cosmetic?
So, Spendless Cosmetics was during the time when I was bankrupt. So, even though I was studying with a lot of people, remember that I
Right.
still need to earn some money. So, actually, during when I was bankrupt, I thought of selling product on social media, but it has to be a product people want to buy. So, I cannot be selling a product that people think twice. So, I thought, okay, what do women like to buy? And that is something that is easy to sell. So, I thought makeup lah, cosmetics, right? Because women always buy lipstick and so on. So I was buying cosmetics from the USA during the time when I was bankrupt and selling to my network of friends and family. So I was making like $500, $800 a month. And that's when I got the idea. Okay, so instead of me becoming a reseller of beauty products, how about we create a technology that allows every woman or every mother to start their own beauty e-commerce business in 2 minutes? And that's when we built Spendless Cosmetics. So you can just sign on Spendless Cosmetics from Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and
Mm-hmm.
within 2 minutes, you are given a website. This website is integrated to your social media, and you can share any of the hundreds of beauty products there. And every time somebody buy from your website, you earn 10% cash. So, and you don't even have to ship the product. So the company ships directed as a drop shipping model. So we ship direct to your customer and we can see it on the system, but you just cash money as long as you post about any product on your website. So we made it possible for women to earn income as beauty resellers the same way I did without technology back then. But now with
Yeah.
technology, we made it possible for 25,000 women. That's how we raise the money.
Wow. And that idea came
During
before you
bankruptcy.
during
Sorry.
bankruptcy.
During bankruptcy. Yes.
During the time you met the 52 people or after the time you met
during
the
the time
after you
during the time of the 52 people, I was buying makeup to sell to my friends. So I had to do it for income. Remember? So I was
yeah.
bankrupt, so I had to do it for me. And then I realized, wait a minute, I can do it for
Uh,
everybody. I just need technology. So I invested small money, my savings and everything, to build this platform, because I was also doing some business consultancy work, so I had some money as well. And then I was funding it myself. Okay, I was
right,
building this
right,
platform myself, and it
right,
drained so much money because technology is expensive.
right,
So
right.
during the 52 weeks, I went broke again. Again, so I didn't. The platform was there, but it was broken. Okay, it was breaking, and I was 75% there, and that's
uh,
when I must tell you this story, okay? So in
yeah,
2016, so I was already desperate. Oh my God, this is failing. Don't tell me I'm already three-quarter of the way. I cannot quit. I have to build this platform. But I was
yeah.
already exhausting my parents' money. I was
Uh,
exhausting everybody's money. So I didn't want to take any more loan, okay? I was owing my mother
uh,
58K already. And
uh,
obviously don't want to take anymore. And they don't
right.
have it. But my
Mm,
parents still believe me. Amazing. They still know that I will achieve something. And so what happened was I start connecting with people,
Mm.
on social media. And then
Mm.
one day I got a call. So I realized that when I was building this business, I talk a lot about it on social media. I talk about how
Mm.
this technology can change income of people. So I was selling my vision, and
Mm.
somebody saw that vision on social media, and they read my
Oh.
profile. And I got a call on a Thursday night in April 2016. So I got a
Uh,
random call, and it's an Indonesian number. I'm like, who the hell calls me from Indonesia?
uh,
And I was
uh,
living with my parents. My kids were in Johor with my ex-husband, and
uh,
I got his call at 9 p.m. And this guy was calling me and said, "Hey, hey, hey! I read about this idea, what project that you're working on. Maybe you can tell me more about it." And I'm like, "Who are you? Okay, calling me on a Thursday. I don't know
uh,
who you are. I'm not gonna tell you my
uh,
business idea." And
uh,
then he said, "Okay, don't worry. I'm gonna put you on the speakerphone. Actually, I am sitting next to the managing director of Sephora. We just landed from Surabaya. We are in Jakarta, and we thought we'd give you a call and find out a little bit more about your business if you want to tell us, because we're in the cosmetics area." And I'm like,
uh,
"Okay, okay." So I told him a little bit, okay, about Spendless Cosmetics, and then he
uh,
told me, "I'm coming to Singapore. Can I see you in 4 days?" And I'm like, "Serious?" Like, okay. So it was
uh,
Sunday, okay, and
uh,
it was Sunday and his flight was delayed. So he told me, "Hey, sorry, I cannot meet you at 7. Can I meet you at 10?" I was going to cancel that appointment, okay, because I was so tired already. I was
mm,
working on my own business, although I wasn't making money. But I was so tired, I was going to cancel that, okay. But actually, I
okay.
didn't know he flew in just one night, okay. So I said, "Okay, you know what? Fine, I'll meet you at 10 o'clock, okay. It's okay. I
Uh,
understand that your flight is late." So I went to see him, and he spent 2 hours listening to my crazy vision, okay, and
right.
uh,
Yeah.
and and knowing that I'm a bankrupt and I have this vision and stuff like that. And I think what he sees is a great idea and a woman who's so passionate at doing it, because you can tell from people's presentation. And I didn't even know he was an investor. He just told me he want to hear the business idea. So I didn't have a pitch deck. I didn't bring a slide presentation. I just
Uh,
came with a handbag. I'm like, "Okay, I'll tell you what I'm trying to build. What do you think?" And then he goes like, "I think I will buy your company." And I'm like, "You're serious?" He says, "Yeah, how much is it now? I mean, what is the price of your company? If you can price it." I'm like, $5 million. I told him that my company is $5 million. Okay. And this is a technology that has not even gone live. I said, "Oh, my price tag is $5 million." And he goes like, "Sounds reasonable. I'm buying 10%." I'm like, "That's $500,000. Done deal. Can we close this?" I'm like, "Okay." And then the conversation went on a little bit, and I thought this guy was joking me for the rest of the night. So I'm like, "Okay, see ya." And then I left. And then the next day, of course, I don't want to message him or whatever, because I don't want him to think that I fell for it or something. So the next day he texted me and he said,
uh,
"Here's my email address, and can you please send me your pitch deck?" And then
mm,
so I googled his email address, because you can tell the company domain, and I
mm,
realized it was a family office in
oh,
Indonesia. So
oh,
I sent that pitch deck, and I was like, "Oh my god, I hope he didn't change his mind." And then after that, he called. He didn't say anything after I sent the deck. So I thought, "Oh my god, this deal is off." So now that I worked out he's a legit person, so I googled about his profile and everything. He's a top notch gay person in Indonesia. And I'm like, "Okay, maybe he didn't like my idea. He didn't call me back or whatever." And then the next day, Tuesday, I got a call, and the call was on a speakerphone. Okay, there's no hi, there's no nothing. It was a speakerphone, and he said, "Hey, by the way, you are now on speakerphone. We in my boardroom in Jakarta." Okay, so he was there in Singapore for one night, right? In this room, there are my lawyers, my CFO, my bankers, some of my C-suites, and myself. So they're gonna ask you a couple of questions and just answer the best way possible. And I'm like, "Okay." And then they only have two questions. So number one, they were asking me, "Is this company a Singapore company?" I said, "Yes, I'm a
mm,
Singaporean," because they love Singapore companies. It's a very stable financial hub. And then secondly, they asked me, "So how much money does the company make?" And I'm like, so my answer was, "The company owes me $75,000. Okay, so that's what I told them. Company doesn't make any. The company owes me money, by the way. Okay, $75,000. And then suddenly I heard his voice again, and he says, "Okay, that's all we want to know, and we will let you know." So I'm like, "Okay, maybe nothing will happen, right? Maybe I should
right.
not tell anybody about this. Nothing's going to happen." So I
Mm,
just keep quiet. He keeps quiet. And then I thought, okay, maybe it was just something. And then the following Monday, which is 8 days after I met him, Following Monday, he told me, before that, he asked us for our information, of course, our company details, our ACRA
Yeah, yeah.
certificate, our banking details. So they check everything. And then the following week, Monday, they transferred first 100,000 into the account. So they told me, oh, can you just quickly check your bank? Is the funds there yet? We can work out the paperwork later, but just start doing your work. And I'm like, are you serious? And I went to my bank account, and honestly, the company account was like almost $0, and then it was 6 digit. It was just like that, and I'm like, okay. And then very quickly, we had 22 full-time employees. We were headquartered in Singapore. We got the rest of the funding, and then we went on LinkedIn so that we can raise more money, and that's how we've been managing the business since.
Wow. Okay. Wow. What do you think, guys, of this story? This is really, 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 really crazy, and it's crazy, amazing story. Yeah, I think
It's really
you.
unplanned. These are things that you cannot plan. It's just your energy, a little bit of luck, and you are ready to take on that challenge. And people see it in your eyes when they hear your voice and go like, "Oh, this woman is ready," and they
Yeah,
see it
yeah,
as an opportunity for them. So they don't see that you're taking advantage of them whatsoever. They see
yeah,
that, wow, I'm lucky to be here, that I get to be at the very early stage of this woman building something phenomenal, and I want to be a part of it. And that's
Mm.
how the funding come through.
Without a pitch deck. Yeah.
Yeah, the pitch deck comes later. There is a pitch deck, but
Yeah,
later.
but without a pitch deck, he put in the money, right?
Yeah, but that's how most of our big investment happens. Big investment doesn't happen with the pitch deck. Surprise,
Ah,
right? Only small investment happen with the pitch deck. But big investment, because the big investors like family offices, normally they hear the idea in person. They prefer a conversation, and they prefer a conversation so they can ask you directly. Okay, and then they look at technology and deck much later.
ah. But he put in the money without signing a contract with you?
No, he signed 3 years later. He was such a busy man. So he signed 3 years later. He's our major shareholder now. So he owns the most of shares in our company. But of course, I own the most as a founder. And then of all, we have 8 shareholders. So he is the first, he is the one that holds the most. So he claimed it only 3 years later because he was really busy. He's a busy man. And I mean, to us, of course, 500,000 is a lot, right? But
Right.
honestly, to a family office, it's like $5 change. So they don't really look at it. They don't. Honestly, I realized that when I work with them, I always say, how come this guy never called me, never asked for paperwork? He always said, yeah, 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 later, later, later. The later was 3 years later. Then he signed the contract.
But, and he discovered you through social media.
Yes, everything, my life, my entire life is discovered by people on social media. Otherwise, no one would know who I am. I'm just living in an apartment
And
with
that
my kids.
right, and that time you was in Facebook, and then what you have in Facebook, you duplicate in LinkedIn, and that's how you started in LinkedIn.
Actually, I think he didn't find me on Facebook. He didn't tell me where, but I was always writing articles. So I had blogs, which doesn't exist anymore. But I used to write also a lot of motherhood blogs and also business blogs. So I think he found through the blog, and then but not through Facebook. He's not connected on my Facebook at all.
Yeah. But in the end, it is your content, right? It's your content that attracts people to you, what you write.
Yes, yes. It's always what you put out. That's why I always want to tell people, and I think Chi Sing can agree with me. Your
Yeah.
words right now in the world of social media, the content that you put out is either gonna win you or give you nothing. So if you really want to achieve everything outside your house, everything you're talking about, large fundings, license your companies, franchise your business, hire people, anything you want to achieve outside your house can be just done through words. You just know how to write it well.
So, like example, you have helped a lot of women, and you have. I see a lot of your brand manager. You have. I think you announce it in your Facebook, and this is your the models that do. And you also wrote some books in 2016, right? Lady Boss. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a book I wrote. That was a book that wrote about me. So
Oh,
the
that wrote about
publisher,
you. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so they wrote about me because I was one of the youngest business guru in Singapore. So they had an acknowledgement of all the business gurus. There's 30 of us, and it was in a book called The Lady Boss.
Ah, and then you have some ebook here, yeah? Strategies to get, you can get this book for free. So if anybody wants, please connect with Leza Klenk in LinkedIn, and you can get this book for. I also need to claim from you, lah, Lisa.
Of course, lah. LinkedIn changed my world. So I'm always writing about it. So all my books are about LinkedIn.
Yes, and then let's talk about you. How do you start the Spendless Academy?
So, from my earlier story, right, I was mentioning to all of you that I spent 52 weeks sitting with experts, and that is more than enough to take me to the next level of knowledge. If you want to know anything about raising big amount of money, knowing where to find investors, you can just ask the right people. What is the paperwork? You can always talk to a lawyer. But most people don't do that. They always do the long way where they have to read up notes where they don't even understand half the time. So instead of that, I cut short and I just contact the exact lawyer, the exact broker, and ask them questions to their face. And I realized it has contributed to me a lot. And that's why now I created Spenders Academy so that anybody who wants to learn about anything can just go on Spenders Academy, choose whatever webinar you want to attend, and everything, all the webinars are going to give you a live person. There's going to be an expert on the other end who is could be an industry leader, could be a CEO, could be a coach, and they are based in many parts of the world, over more than 18 countries. So the experts are from 18 countries, and you can just log on in your own house and learn 1 hour webinar with them, whatever you want to learn, digital marketing. And some people in the chat today are also my experts on Academy.
Yes, this is Chiseng. Who else in there? We have here Chiseng. She's answering the question of Jessie. Because Jessie is asking a question here. She is asking you, does that mean, because we're talking about content, does that mean that ones with the less capability to write well lose out on opportunities?
Well, opportunities come in different sizes. So honestly, right, people have different strategy to get attraction. So the question is depends on what work for you or depends on how your network respond. So some people have a network that can respond via call. Okay, so they don't need social media. My family offices funders, they hate social media. Okay, so they like to somebody just find them, tell them an idea in person and go like yes or no. So it really depends. So but these could be one of the strategies if your other strategies is not working out. So it's for you to find out whether writing will truly get you places or the opportunities that you want on the right social media platform.
Okay, good. And then Mary Ann Santos says she found out about Miss Leza is the lady boss of Singapore through YouTube. So you're also in YouTube also, right? You have also YouTube channel too. Okay, so beside having, I think most of your business is also is going back to your childhood also. You find out what is the pain point. And the pain point comes from your own experience, your own pain point, right? And then that's how you create and you can help others and be so passionate about it. And then because of that, of all you being a business guru, you also become a speaker here. Also speaker, so many speakers engagement and also here summit, Destiny Summit. Yeah. And you also in TEDx.
Yes.
And here, this is what is
IQI. This is your Malaysian IQI real estate agency. So they flew me twice to speak to their real estate agents.
real estate agent also call you?
Yeah. Corporate company real estate agents, because it's about personal branding, remember, and
Yeah.
entrepreneurship thinking, but more so personal branding on LinkedIn. So they always require me to speak to that.
Oh, okay. Oh, and then you also you telling me about this that you have meetup. Huh? Maybe you can tell me about this.
So after we did the 52 weeks with all those people, right? And then I went back into business. I was busy building my company, but I missed conversations where I get to learn from people. So
Mm.
before Academy came about, I was doing every 2 months hosting high tea sessions. So we would invite 10 experts by invitation, and they'll all come to this specific cafe, which is on the first floor of my office building. And basically, we just sit around 3 or 4 sets of high tea, having a nice cakes, pastries, and we talk about business for 3 hours. That was amazing. So you can ask any of the expert on the table any question you want answered in their capacity, and they cannot run away. Where they're gonna go? They have to finish their tea. So, so and it was such a nice experience that the environment makes people want to open up and share. Nobody was rushing to go home because it was so nice. So I created all those so that I can, feed myself with more information, but I also make sure everybody learn what they want to learn by gathering the right expert. And I did that for 2 years. The first 2 years when I was on LinkedIn. So because when I was on LinkedIn, I try to meet a lot of people that I can.
Right,
And
right,
then
right,
before I launched the academy.
right. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your kids and your family. There you go. They are beautiful kids. How old are they now?
So my eldest is 14. My youngest, my middle one is turning on the 1st of July 12, and my last one is 10. So when I first started business, they were 4, 2, and newborn. And
Mm.
then now, obviously, they're much older. So I grow the business alongside as I grow them.
How is it that tell me about the about you parenting and leadership? Can you please uh, let the audience know about the relation of leadership and parenting?
So actually, my TEDx talk that you saw earlier, right? That was the topic: how motherhood prepared me for CEO. And actually, I think I wouldn't be a great CEO without my children, because I think leadership always starts at home. So a couple of things that I learned from a mother and then becoming a CEO is, number one, obviously leadership is not a one size fit all. You realize that your three kids, no matter how much they have the same environment, same parents, they always grow up to become different people, and so they grow differently. Some may be into music, some into academic, exactly what my kids are now, and some into creative. But that doesn't
Right.
mean that they will not be successful. They are just different. And I realized that in a business as well, if you want to lead people in an organization, having employees, it's more about understanding who they are and not try to change them. And instead of penalizing for their weakness, focus on their strength, give them role that can make them feel empowered and uplifting because you're capable in something, and then worry about their weakness later, and can always encourage them to polish that up later, but it's not crucial for them to change themselves. So that's one of it. And secondly, I realized that when you have a multiple children and your house is in chaos all the time, you definitely need structure. So there has to be a structure of things are done, because we're washing piles and piles of laundry, for example. So we need to know
Right.
where the socks go, the clothes go, the dark clothes, the light clothes, the winter clothes, and
Mm.
all these are important. And the mother always control the structure in a household. If you hope for a husband, he only if he has OCD, he will be better than the mom. Other than that, the mother will always organize things in the house. The brooms
Right.
go here, okay? The ladle goes there, the spoon goes here. So because of that, it's the same thing with the company as well. So having a structure means every process within an organization have a protocol for people to follow. And like a mother, you always have to create rules for little people. You make it simple. That is the simple rule. If you want people to do work in your absence, don't give them ridiculous instructions that they don't understand. That's when they have to call you on
Ah,
vacation. Yeah, they have to go,
right.
Miss Lisa, I don't know how to do this. So make it simple, concise, so that when people read once, they get it. Okay. So, and then when you are gone, somebody else can replace your position or carry on the work or the task without you worrying whether things will break apart when you're not there. So running a business as your company continue to grow is very important for the CEO to actually look back into processes, making it simpler. How can we do better? How can we do faster? How can we be
Mm.
more efficient? If somebody reads
Mm.
it, would they understand? So those are the things that I look at, and motherhood really helps me because I'm an OCD at home. So
Mm.
in
Oh.
because of that, everything to me, there must be a logical pathway. Okay, there's no, by luck we got here. There's no luck. Okay, there's no luck. We have a structure. We get there because of a structure. So I like to create structures.
Okay. And we have here you and your husband. Tell us how, because you become a single mom, how was it that you start opening up to have a relationship?
So actually, I think this might resonate to a lot of single moms. So obviously, when you go through a bad long-term marriage, okay, and you have children as well to worry about, your hands are pretty much tied, okay, because after the divorce is over, you're worrying about, okay, now I have to earn enough. I have to raise my three kids. My three kids needed me. So you're very, very busy with a lot of things and finding yourself again after your marriage, because you sort of lose your identity for a while because you've been someone's wife for 10 years. But one thing I realized, and my advice if somebody just gone through a divorce, do not rush into a relationship. Spend the next 1 to 2 years to truly define yourself again. Find your passion, chase your dreams, build up your hobbies, connect with your children, make contact with old friends, and find life again. And I did just that, and I did it for 6 years. So I wasn't seeing anybody serious for 6 years. Because I was busy building my business, raising capital funding, trying to organize my employees, and also looking after three children. And I also
Yeah.
have my parents around to help.
Yeah.
So after 6 years, I was still dealing with defamation on social media, which I took a year off Facebook in
Yeah.
2016. So
Mhm.
during the year, obviously Facebook is a major distraction in our life. So the moment you remove Facebook out of your life, okay, You'll be lost for a while. You go like, "Oh, I don't know what to do when I wake up." Okay, a while. But after that, you start to pick up the things that you left behind, yourself, what you love, and stuff like that. And that's when I start to develop myself. I be happier. I go out. I meet people, and that's how I met my husband. And within the same year that I left Facebook is when I met him and married him. So when I came back
Wow.
on Facebook, my last name changed, obviously, and then so people were like, "What? She's gone for a year and she comes back and she's married." People were confused for a while. Is this the same person? But yeah.
What
So I got married 2.5 years ago.
what year was it when you're off the Facebook?
It was 2017 to 2018.
Okay, for 1 year.
Either about mid 2017. So yeah.
Also LinkedIn or all
I
the
was on
social.
LinkedIn. So that's the thing. No. I when I built on LinkedIn, after 4 months, I realized that LinkedIn has a special power, right? The power to attract you to right people. So I told myself, actually, this is the best time to get on Facebook because then you focus where all the major people are, the professionals. Because if you have so many social media platforms, you will never be a master of any. Okay, because you are energy here, energy there. So I realized that LinkedIn has so much capability. So I got rid of Facebook also so that I can focus just on LinkedIn. So I even closed my Instagram. So I only did
Oh,
LinkedIn for 1 full year with nothing else. So it's either do
oh,
or die. Okay, better make it or go home. So and that's how after 1 year on LinkedIn, I hit from 20 connections to 25,000 connections in 1 year, the same year.
wow. So that means like actually focusing in one social media platform
Yeah.
and yeah, rather than just spread out everywhere your focus, right? That's what you're saying.
Yep. It depends on what you need for your business. So at that time, I needed to focus on investments because I want to grow my company, and also it was very negative on Facebook, so I thought I'd leave it for a while. And then outside of social media, obviously, I met my husband, and then I decided to get married that year.
Ah, yeah, because Facebook is all about, it's more personal and all that thing, but LinkedIn is very, very professional.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why you're able to focus on just that. I want investment. So
yeah.
yeah, and then how did I can see that it's amazing that how he's able to blend in with your family, yeah, with your kids,
Yep, exactly. Okay, so this is another funny story. Okay, like I'm a person who like to plan things, and I'm very much like you as well. Kita macam we have structure, we have goals and stuff like that. So
right?
I have a vision that I always like to execute. So because of my vision, is exactly what drives me towards achieving that. So
Mm,
when I was spending time in the 6 years as a single mom, and obviously I wasn't sure whether I wanted to remarry yet in the future, but
mm,
I was thinking that how do I travel with 3 kids if I don't have someone with me? Like I think that eventually I need, a husband so that when I can do more things with my kids because there's always 2 parents. I cannot just go to Europe, rent a car with 3 kids.
mm,
So
mm.
I want to do all that. And so, but I didn't want to get married. So what I did was I did a list, okay, of if I had the money, what kind of nanny would I hire? So nanny is a man who's a nanny. So what kind of so I had a list. Okay, if I can pay a nanny, what kind of, so I had a list that says he has to be fit, he has to take us to exercise, his health. So he doesn't have to be a professional cook, but he can cook enough for us to eat, and he knows how to drive on both sides of the road, the left hand and the right hand. He must have, traveled to at least 10 countries, so he knows how to direction us in Europe. A lot of ridiculous list. Okay, and I shared it on Facebook. Okay, I shared it on Facebook, and people were commenting and said this many doesn't exist. Okay, so because it was just so precise, exactly I want precise, and then
Oh,
I met my husband, and then I that was a few years after I wrote the list. So I met my husband. I realized that that's exactly my many, and better if I marry him I don't have to pay. So I married him.
your vision actually actualized. Vision came true.
Yeah, it's all about, to me, it's of course it's also not just love, of course, it's also practicality. So you want to bring somebody, whenever you integrate with children, you don't want to change both people. You don't want to change him for the kids, you don't want to change the kids for him. So you need to find 2 people that can gel. so that it's easier the integration. And so my kids and my husband, they obviously do a lot of things together every day, and they tell each other they love each other every day like girls. Okay, but they're very closely bonded.
Okay, Nina Justin is tuning in from Amsterdam. She is my friend. Okay, she's also my mentor for startup. When I was doing startup, she's also my mentor too. She also made a list of her husband. Okay, what what kind of husband. And my mother also did that actually when she wanted to meet her husband.
I think
Yeah.
practical strategic thinkers, they do that. So I do that, and there's nothing wrong about it. I'm just saying it's my guidance, so I don't get lost in finding the right person.
Miss Manny is a new vocab we learn from Leza. He is God sent to you. Win-win situation in a love relationship. Definitely. Yeah, I learned new word today. Manny.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I argue with my husband, right? Okay, and then I have to take out this list again, and I go, oh my god, if I get rid of this husband, I'm never gonna find a many that fits this list. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm like,
Ma-
I
Many who play games like this, many to take care. Okay, bagus. And then you also all together as a family. It's really, really awesome. Okay, so I think we're going towards the end of the show. Everyone maybe can share what are the takeaways that you have from Lisa. What do you learn from Lisa today? I definitely learned a lot from Lisa today. I learned the word many, especially. And I just want to share with you one of comments of a person. It says here from in Facebook message. You got this a Facebook message, right, Lisa? It
this is
says
I think LinkedIn. Yeah,
LinkedIn.
I
Oh,
follow. Yeah,
LinkedIn.
it's LinkedIn.
It's LinkedIn. It says Leza Klenk, a good friend, suggested that I follow your journey and read your articles. Your vision to educate and provide opportunities to women inspired me instantly. I reminisced on similar challenges and was reminded on how fragile and vulnerable I was. The circumstances that I was in didn't help either. It was extremely difficult as a single mother. It still is. Speaking out in agreement with you, you empowered me in a matter of days and it felt good. The value that you add is immeasurable. Thank you, Lisa. And I think everybody tonight, including me, feels the same way. And that's why I put that up. Okay. Thank you so much, Lisa. Maybe you can share what are your last words to our audience?
So I want to say that even though you come from a bad past, that doesn't mean that you cannot create a best future. So your past doesn't define what you will become tomorrow. It will just leave you wisdom and lessons. Don't live there anymore. And then you'll be surprised that you have this wisdom when you own up to your mistakes, and it will make you embrace challenges in a more positive way. And that's when you realize later on the other half of your life, you're making all the right decisions one after another. And it's not because by luck, it was because you had a bad first half of the life, and that's how your second half of the life will give you the reward that you truly deserve. Pure happiness, success, financial freedom, whatever you dream of can be yours. So if you're not in a good place right now, don't worry about it. Keep a list of the good and bad and what have you learned from that experience, because one day you're going to look back on that lesson, and that actual lesson today is going to guide you to make a big decision tomorrow that will change your life forever.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So we have here a lot of comments from people. Like Marisa was saying that how she bounced back so quickly each time and made it even better, and how that went out to help empower more women. And Jonah is here. He's saying, hi, Liz. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, we've got the same, almost this. Actually, my full name is
Yeah.
Haliza. Actually, my full name is Haliza. Lisa, actually,
Oh.
I went to boarding school. Everybody decided to change my name to Liz. So I got stuck to that until now. Miss Lisa is funny, smart and ambitious woman. Words of wisdom. Join us here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I think, what else we have? This one. I think my mom said, many is a new vocab. Okay. She already said win-win situation in a love relationship. So I think there's also you're gonna have a free seminar tomorrow, right?
Actually, I'm just the host for the seminar, but in
Oh,
case
host.
anybody wants to learn about digital marketing tomorrow, join us at 12 noon on LinkedIn.
Tomorrow at what time again?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Okay. So maybe you can check out LinkedIn of Liza's LinkedIn to sign up for the free seminar, and she's the host tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I think we've got a fantastic show. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you so much, Leza. I'm so honored to have you, and I think I have so much fun talking to you tonight. And I hope we will have you again in my show again. And thank you everyone for Mamaliez. Join us next week, next Friday. Next Friday we have also a good show. We have also a mother, also a single mother, but she raised her kids to successful kids. The kids now teenagers. They find their own sponsor, international sponsor, to study in Harvard. And then another daughter also found a sponsor to study in USC. And they also have their own training, and they have their own books also. They are teenagers. And they're doing all this. It's really amazing. So next Friday we're gonna have another family. Yeah. Next week is first time I interview a family. I never interview a family yet. Tonight is my first time interviewing somebody I don't know personally, but I'm so thank God that she came to my life today. And I hope our friendship grows. And thank you for everybody for joining tonight. And those who are not connected to Leza, just get connected. Oh, Amin baru tu. Bye. Hi, Amin. Thank you for joining. And Chiseng is also in Spendless Academy. Please also check out his webinar. Yeah, he has his webinar. Okay. And okay, that's it. All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.